What's up, One Piece crew? Welcome back to the channel where we dissect everything in the Grand Line. Today, we're tackling one of the most formidable forces in the entire One Piece world, the 7 Admirals of the world government. These individuals represent the peak of marine military power, and their strength is often considered to be on a godlike level. We're not just going to list them off, we'll be diving deep into their devil fruit abilities, their combat styles, their philosophies, and their most impressive feats. And of course, the big question, how do they stack up against each other? We'll be ranking them based on their demonstrated power and potential impact on the story. So buckle up, because this is going to be an in-depth exploration of the Marines' ultimate weapons. Let's get started. Admiral first, Ryokugyu, the cool-headed ice commander. Our journey begins with Kuzan, better known as Ryokugyu, the blue pheasant. Ryokugyu holds a unique place among the Admirals. He was one of the first we were introduced to, making a chilling debut during the Long Ring Long Land arc. In this encounter, he effortlessly overpowered the entire Straw Hat crew. This was a harsh wake-up call for Luffy and his friends, demonstrating the terrifying power that the Admirals wield. It really set the stage for how much stronger the world was outside of the first half of the Grand Line. Ryokugyu's power stems from the Hie no Mi, a Logia-type devil fruit that grants him the power to create, control, and transform himself into ice. This devil fruit is incredibly versatile and potent. He can generate massive waves of ice to freeze vast areas of the sea, create blizzards, and encase opponents in ice in an instant. One of the key advantages of his Logia powers is that physical attacks, unless imbued with haki, pass right through him. When struck, his body simply shatters, only to reform moments later. This makes him incredibly difficult to damage. But Ryokugyu's abilities go beyond simply manipulating existing ice. He can also form constructs, creating weapons like swords and spears out of ice. He can even create more complex structures, such as a giant ice pheasant, which he can launch at his enemies with devastating force. Here's a really interesting quirk. Ryokugyu is one of the few devil fruit users who has found a way to circumvent the weakness of being vulnerable to the sea. He can freeze the water beneath his feet, allowing him to walk on the ocean surface. This not only prevents him from drowning, but also gives him a tactical advantage. He can freeze enemy ships in place, cutting off their escape routes, or even turn the sea into a frozen battlefield for large-scale combat. The Summit War at Marineford provided a dramatic showcase of Ryokugyu's power. He went head-to-head with Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world, and was able to hold his own against this legendary figure. He also effortlessly defeated Jozu, one of Whitebeard's most powerful division commanders, completely incapacitating him early in the war. Incredibly, despite the scale and intensity of the Summit War, Ryokugyu emerged almost unscathed, with only a small bruise to show for it. This is a testament to his incredible durability and skill. Following the war, Ryokugyu was nominated for the position of Fleet Admiral. However, he faced off against Akainu in a fierce battle for the position, and was ultimately defeated. Akainu's appointment and his ruthless approach to justice led Ryokugyu to resign from the Marines, as he refused to serve under Akainu's command. This marked a major turning point for the character. In a shocking turn of events, Ryokugyu eventually joined the Blackbeard Pirates, one of the most dangerous and feared pirate crews in the world. This alliance remains shrouded in mystery and raises many questions about Ryokugyu's true intentions. Considering his immense power, his experience, and his impact on the story, I confidently place Ryokugyu in the A tier. He's a force to be reckoned with, and his future actions will undoubtedly have significant consequences. Admiral 2nd, Ryokugyu, the mysterious forest man. Let's move on to Ryokugyu, also known as the Green Bull. Ryokugyu is a relatively new face among the Admirals. He attained his rank during the 2-year time skip, filling one of the vacant positions left by Ryokugyu and Akainu. Ryokugyu remains a somewhat enigmatic figure, but his power is undeniable. One of his most notable appearances was during the Wano Country arc, where he engaged in battle with the Flame Emperor Sabo and several Revolutionary Army commanders. He also demonstrated his overwhelming strength by effortlessly defeating King and Queen, 2 of the Beast Pirates All-Stars, both of whom possess bounties exceeding 1 billion berries. Ryokugyu's power comes from the Mori Mori no Mi, a Logia-type devil fruit that allows him to create, control, and transform his body into plants. This devil fruit grants him a unique set of abilities. Unlike some other Logia users, Ryokugyu cannot become completely intangible, as plants are a solid element. However, he still possesses the Logia advantage of being immune to non-haki enhanced physical attacks. Any damage he sustains is quickly healed through a rather unusual regeneration process. He regenerates by sprouting from the ground and growing back into his normal form. In combat, Ryokugyu utilizes his plant powers in a variety of ways. This includes the ability to dehydrate living creatures, turning them into shriveled husks. This is a particularly gruesome and effective technique. Ryokugyu can also perform more unusual feats with his plant powers. He can grow a giant flower on his back and use it to fly, showcasing the versatility of his devil fruit. It's unclear whether this is a passive ability or something he consciously controls, but it's a fascinating aspect of his powers. While Ryokugyu is undoubtedly a powerful fighter, and his devil fruit is quite impressive, I'm not entirely convinced that he's reached the same level as the most seasoned admirals like Aokiji, Yorsti. Therefore, I'm placing him in the B tier for now. He has the potential to climb higher in the future as we see more of his abilities. Admiral 3rd, Kizaru, the speed of light. Now, let's talk about Kizaru, also known as the Yellow Monkey. Kizaru is a veteran admiral, the only one who remains from the original trio alongside Aokiji and Akainu. Kizaru is known for his laid-back and almost playful demeanor, which often contrasts sharply with his immense power. Like the other admirals, his mere presence is enough to instill fear and panic in weaker pirates. This was perfectly illustrated on the Sabayoti Archipelago. When he arrived, most of the supernovas, the powerful rookie pirates, immediately fled in terror. Kizaru effortlessly overwhelmed 4 of those supernovas, Hawkins, Uruj, X-Drake, and Apu, defeating each of them with a single attack. This demonstrated his overwhelming speed and power. Kizaru also engaged in a battle with Silver's Rayleigh, the former right-hand man of the Pirate King Gol D. Roger and one of the strongest swordsmen in the world. Kizaru's power was further displayed during the Summit War. He battled several of Whitebeard's division commanders simultaneously and held his own against them. Without a doubt, Kizaru's greatest strength lies in his devil fruit, the Pika Pika no Mi, which allows him to transform his body into light. This devil fruit grants him incredible speed, allowing him to move at the speed of light. He can also essentially teleport by transforming his body into light and reappearing in another location instantly. Kizaru can also enhance his physical attacks with his light powers. Ranking Kizaru is a challenge. He exudes confidence and often seems to believe he can defeat anyone. This confidence is backed up by his incredible speed and destructive power. For the time being, I'm placing him in the A tier. However, he definitely possesses the potential to reach S tier in the future if he truly pushes his powers to their limit and demonstrates even greater feats. Admiral 4th, Zephyr, the Black Arm Legend. Now we delve into the story of a very interesting figure, Zephyr, also known as Black Arm, Zephyr, or simply Z. It's important to note that Zephyr is a former Marine Admiral and the Commander-in-Chief of the Neo Marines, and he plays a central role as the main antagonist of One Piece film, Z. In this film, he and his Neo Marine forces clash with the Straw Hat Pirates as they become entangled in his plan to destroy the New World. Zephyr's history is deeply intertwined with the Marines. After his retirement as an admiral, he was requested to remain in the military as an instructor. He trained many powerful cadets who would go on to become high-ranking officers in the Marines, including future admirals like Kizaru, Aokiji, and Akainu. This speaks volumes about his influence and his skill as a combat instructor. Even after he completely severed ties with the world government, many of his former students expressed genuine remorse at the prospect of having to fight him. Zephyr was considered to be one of the most powerful Marines of his generation, standing alongside legendary figures like Garp, Sengoku, and Tsuru. What makes Zephyr particularly unique among the admirals is that he is the only one who doesn't possess any devil fruit powers. Instead, he relied entirely on his physical prowess, his mastery of haki, and his hand-to-hand combat skills. He used his immense physical strength and his mastery of haki to fight on equal footing with some of the most powerful characters in the series. He was even able to hold his own against Kizaru, an admiral with light speed abilities, for a period of time. After his final battle against Luffy, he acknowledged that he had grown old and weak, recognizing that time had taken its toll on his physical abilities. The tricky thing about ranking Zephyr is his non-canon status. While he's a very interesting and powerful character, his feats aren't part of the main One Piece storyline. Also, while we know he was an admiral, we don't have a ton of specific examples of his actions as an admiral. Taking all of this into consideration, I unfortunately have to place Zephyr in the C tier. He's a legend, but his lack of canon material and feats as a current admiral limits how high we can place him. Admiral 5th, Fujitora, the Gravity Master. Hush, let's shift our focus to Fujitora, also known as the Wisteria Tiger. Similar to Ryokugyu, Fujitora attained his admiral rank off-screen during the time skips. His justice motto as a Marine is humane justice, and his primary goal is to protect as many people as possible. He tries to never put innocent civilians in harm's way during conflicts, and avoids causing collateral damage with his attacks. He's also really strong as well, as he was able to fight Sabo to more or less of a standstill, emerging from a battle without a scratch. Another one of Fujitora's feats is defeating Jax, Kaido's top commander, in an evil battle. Despite being blind, due to his other acute senses and observation haki, Fujitora can handle himself perfectly well in combat, even against very powerful enemies. Fujitora ate the Zushi no Mi, a paramecia-type devil fruit that allows him to manipulate gravitational forces. Fujitora can drastically increase the gravity around others, keeping them on the ground and making it difficult for them to move. He can also further increase the gravity and press down opponents under immense pressure, even going as far as to create large craters deep into the ground. He can also use gravity to pull objects directly towards himself, which Fujitora has used multiple times to summon meteorites to strike his opponents. Despite his incredibly powerful devil fruit abilities, Isho is also a master swordsman, which he showed when he easily deflected Zoro's attack and sent him underground. Although we saw Fujitora fight several times, it was never against seriously strong opponents. Therefore, for now, I'll have to put him in the B tier with Green Bull, Admiral 6th, Akainu, the embodiment of absolute justice. Now we come to one of the most controversial and powerful figures in the Marines, Akainu, also known as the Red Dog. Akainu currently holds the position of Fleet Admiral, the highest rank in the Marine organization. Sakazuki has command over the entire Marine organization, from ordering all soldiers and officers as he sees fit to issuing a buster call on any island he deems to be a threat. His only superiors are the world government's Commander-in-Chief Kong and the Five Elders. Akainu is an adamant believer in absolute justice, and he believes that all evil should be eradicated, even if it requires sacrificing innocent lives in the process. He is incredibly rigid and absolute in his beliefs, showing little compassion for anyone or anything, and he is ruthlessly willing to do whatever it takes to serve his own goals, no matter the cost. During the Summit War, Sakazuki's fighting prowess was well established against Whitebeard, whom the Admiral matched up to in a head-to-head confrontation. While Whitebeard managed to gain the upper hand and deliver a serious blow to Akainu, the Admiral managed to melt off half of Whitebeard's face in the exchange. Ultimately, Sakazuki proved to be unstoppable, and not even the combined efforts of Jinbei, Marco, and Vista could do anything more than slow him down. It was only when Shanks arrived and personally engaged Akainu that he finally stopped fighting. We didn't see much of Akainu post-time skip, but it is believed that he got even more powerful and will probably be one of the final obstacles on Luffy's journey. After he managed to defeat Aokiji and deal some serious damage to Whitebeard, I believe that Akainu is the first admiral that deserves to be placed in the S tier. Admiral 7th, Sengoku, the Buddha. Finally, let's discuss Sengoku, also known as the Buddha. Sengoku was the fleet admiral of the Marines during the first half of the series. He was one major figure in the world along with Whitebeard, Shiki, and Garp during the times when Goldie Roger was still alive. Sometime during the time skip, he became a general inspector, and his position was taken by Akainu. Although not much is known about Sengoku's past, we know that he joined the Marines at the age of 23 and eventually rose up through the ranks, achieving admiral status. He was also powerful enough to stop and capture the legendary pirate Golden Lion, Shiki, in a battle that destroyed half the Marine force. During the Summit War, he mainly stayed on the sidelines and was responsible for commanding the Marine forces. Sengoku ate the Hito no Mi, model Daibutsu, a mythical Zoan-type devil fruit that allows him to transform into a large golden Buddha, boosting his powers and overall strength massively. This form also allows him to launch golden shockwaves by striking his hands forward, and was strong enough to injure even the Blackbeard pirates. When Sengoku first used his fruit's powers in an attempt to execute both Luffy and Ace, nearby Marines noted that they had never seen him use it before, suggesting that he rarely transforms. Okay, so where should Sengoku be in the rankings? Well, we need to take into account that he's very old, and before Marineford, he probably didn't fight anyone for a long time. Honestly, while he was a legend in his prime, I don't believe he could take on any of the younger current admirals in his current state. Therefore, with some regret, I have to place Sengoku in the C tier. His past power is undeniable, but current strength is the key factor. Alright, One Piece fans, there you have it, a detailed exploration of all 7 of the most prominent admirals. It's clear that the admirals are a force to be reckoned with, each possessing unique and devastating powers. Their influence on the story is immense, and they will undoubtedly continue to play crucial roles in the events to come. I'm sure there will be debates about these rankings. Who do you think is the strongest admiral? Do you agree with my tiers? Let's discuss it in the comments below.